Love your job. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I do. I love my job. Praise God for you. And we thank God for each and every one of you who have made a decision to hang out with us here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. We are the number one faith-based, motivational, and inspirational broadcast platform in the country. And we are always overly excited when we have the opportunity, when guests stop by and hang out with us for a few and tell us what they're doing. Today is no different. We have Evangeline Greene on the line with us. I want to make sure I'm saying that right, so I'm going to just simply move out of the way and let her introduce herself. You know what? Why don't you do me this favor, Miss Greene? Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from.
Okay. Hi, Pastor Kevin. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to talk with you today and all your listeners. I am in the middle of writing a series, a trilogy of 3 fantasy books. The first one's called Sophia Violet and the Fiery Orb. The second one that's just come out now is Sophia Violet and the Crystal Orb. And the third one I have a name for, but I'll keep it in my pocket, so everyone's excited and waiting for it. And actually, today, what I've done, they're on Amazon. They're available on Amazon, also on my website, EvangelineGreene.com. And I've put them on 99 cents for the next 2 days, just in honor of being on your show.
Oh, wow. Hey, 99 cents for the next 2 days. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, go get your publications today. Why don't you, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about how you got started in writing from the beginning. What's the root foundation behind what you're doing today?
Okay. Well, that's an interesting journey, I would say, because I certainly didn't start. I always loved to write. I wrote all the time when I was young. I loved stories. I can remember staying up with a flashlight under my covers, at 2, 3 in the morning with a box of books. And I always wanted to write. But, you grow up and you have families and you have to make money. And, I did always pursue. I did an English degree just for fun. But I worked in the healthcare field for many years. And but always on the side, I was writing for myself and just doing it because I wanted to do it. And then my husband had some health issues, and we decided to retire early, and so that we could enjoy, the fruits of our years of working. And in that time, I turned back to writing, and I thought, now I have the time. My children are grown, and I have the time and the energy, and I just started writing, and it just overtook me.
Wow.
And here's a shout out to NaNoWriMo. That's the National Writing Month each November. It's a challenge that you can go online. It's a charity. You can go online and you write a book in the month of November. So Sophia Violet was actually a challenge that I took in the month of November, and someone said to me, why don't you try a fantasy? So that's what I did, and in no time at all. She'd been sort of in my head anyway for quite a while. I had written another book that I sort of stopped in the middle of, but I liked a lot of the characters that were in there and some of the themes. It's very important to me to have a positive theme of friendship and family and values that, people help each other. And those, people say, oh, it's nice and clean. I guess you can say it's clean, but I guess it's the way that you want the world to be. So it's, anybody from 12 on can read them. I do have a lot of older readers. Surprisingly enough, those books, you might call them young adult, but I do have a lot of older readers, and I am interested in all genres. I don't sort of limit myself. I do tend to focus on girls and women, just from an empowerment point of view. I like to offer a positive view of, how to embrace your strengths and make them work the best for you to create a good life.
Right. Wow. And I did hear you mention that they are available, of course, for those of you that don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Say it for me one more time.
It's Evangeline Greene.
Okay, Evangeline Greene. So it kind of rhymes there. Okay, good. Okay. Evangeline Greene.
And to be honest, again, for the sake of honesty, that is my writing name. That is my pen name.
Ah, Okay. And of course, we want to send a shout out to your husband on today, who's very supportive. And I know he's chimed in. I've had the opportunity to speak with him a few times. And I want to just, say hello to your husband and say thank you so much for all of your support and, standing by your side to continue to help push and provide these publications to people around the world via the GMAP Broadcast Network. We thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be a part of our broadcast family, being a part of your journey, and being here with us today. And of course, again, for those that don't know, Evangeline Greene is one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network. You're more than welcome. Stop by gmap1.com. Go to our featured authors bookstore. You will see a copy of the current covers that I'm showing you on our television screen platform. Click on one and or both of them, and of course it will take you to the necessary location to show your love, care, concern, and support by purchasing one or both of the publications currently. Now, I did hear you say earlier where they are available. I just wouldn't mind if you would repeat that, just to make sure that our viewers and listeners are aware of where they could show their support by purchasing one or both of your current publications. If you don't mind sharing that once again for us.
No problem at all. But first, I want to say you're right. I do want to thank my husband. He's my biggest supporter, coffee bringer. Let me wake him up in the middle of the night when I can't sleep because I've got an idea going around in my head. And he's a writer as well, so we understand each other perfectly, and it's a great marriage of those two, of those interests. Now, where you can get the books, Amazon, Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Smashwords, that's another one, Barnes & Noble. Also, there's, if you look on my website, I'm sorry, I don't know the links off by heart, but if you look on the website, EvangelineGreene.com, there are, for people who like to read in serial format or on their phone, there's Fox Novel and a couple other places that you can go to where you can read it by chapter. Read a couple chapters, and if it's not your thing, don't worry about it. But it's nice because for kids especially, they can read it on their phone and on the go. So it's widely available.
Amen. Now let's just say, Evangeline Greene, let's say someone wanted to personally reach out to you and speak to you more personally about what it is that they can do to support the publications, or even talk to you about how they could possibly get started in their journey, on their journey in writing their first publication. How can you be reached and or connected with?
Yes, I always like to hear from anyone who's interested. I mean, I think especially in something like this, you want to build your own tribe. You want to have people around you who support you and understand what your goals and your vision are. And so it's wonderful to have people to bounce things off, and I'm happy to do that. I mean, I certainly don't know anything. It's been sort of a crash course for me as well. It's a lot. It's social media, it's the writing, it's the editing, it's I'm just finishing a book cover. I have another book coming out in July or August. It's not in the series. It was a book that I've been working on for a while. And so I'm just finishing the cover on that. So it's a going concern. You're learning so much. And social media, that can take up time. You have to learn how to really balance that. So, but anybody who's interested can write me at EvangelineGreene.com. I get all the emails that come through there. There's a link. And I'll do my very best to answer any questions anyone has.
Outstanding. Well, of course, we are going to be paying close attention to the publications that you plan to release to the public soon, and we want to let you know that by all means, make sure you reach out and connect with us so we can assist you in presenting those publications as well to as many people as possible. I'm excited. I believe there are going to be some very exciting reads. We encourage you all to be sure stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network, and I do believe that both covers are linked to your website, so that kind of keeps things simple. If they click on the covers, it will take them to your website, and they could basically learn more about the author as well as the publications released by the author, and they could show their support that way as well. So we thank God for that. And I did hear you say you got those two publications that are in the works now, but what if someone were to ask you, in addition to those publications, what's next for Evangeline Greene? What would your response be to that?
Okay. First, I do have to point out, good old John, you mentioned him earlier, Pastor Kevin, and he wants me to tell you that on your website, you've got EvangelineGreene.com, which is great, but Evangeline is spelled G-E, not G-I, Evangeline. So that way, if they click on those links, they won't work.
Okay.
So just so you know, it's Evangeline.
Amen.
G-E, yes,
Amen.
G-E-L-I-N-E, Green.com. I just don't want people thinking that I'm ignoring them when they try to get a hold of me.
I'm going to make sure to make those changes, and thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, and I'll be sure to make those minor corrections immediately once we're done here. But we thank God for you sharing that information, because we want to make sure that people are able to connect with you accordingly. So thank you for that. And again, we just want to know what's your future plans? What's next outside or in addition to the current publications that you're working on?
Thank you for asking. Well, it's actually very exciting. I'm going to be very busy. As I said, I wrote the first two books in this series of what we call the Orbs of Power, the Sophia Violet and the Fiery Orb, and Sophia Violet and the Crystal Orb. And the third one is what I'll be working on as soon as I finish the book I'm finishing right now and get it up in July or August. Then I'll be going back to work on the last of the three books in the trilogy on the Sophia Violet. After that, I do actually have a couple good ideas in mind. We are heading to Key West. We're hoping, keep your fingers crossed with COVID, but it looks like things are getting a little better. We'll be going there in January. So I'm thinking about writing a book based in Key West. I've got quite a few ideas. While I'm there, sort of immerse myself. It's nice because I can walk the streets and create the story as I go, and that's what I love to do. Sophia Violet is set in New York City, and before I wrote that, my husband and I went there, and we walked Central Park, and we went to the delis, the area where I said that Sophia, she hung out. So we had a good idea. I love to immerse myself in that.
Wow.
So again, different places that are in the book. There are quite a few. Sophia and her friends, they're shapeshifters. They're able to change shape. They have some unusual capabilities, and so they can also travel through space, space, not time, I guess. But anyway, they can go from one place to another. So they do a lot of competitions where they might turn into an animal, or usually an animal, and complete a competition. So those are a lot of places I've been. In one of the books, I used Turks and Caicos as a spot because we had been there. So it's kind of fun. We combine two things we enjoy: the writing and planning, and traveling.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm excited about what you're doing. I'm just overwhelmed with joy to know that you have a plan, and of course, we again want to be able to help you present that information and those publications and the new things that you are planning to do in the very near future. We want to make sure that we are a part of that journey as well to help present those to people around the world. Evangeline Greene here, one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network. We simply can't thank you enough on today for taking a few minutes out of your time to be here. We're definitely looking forward to hearing from you again soon. We will be inviting you back to find out how things are going and what it is that we can do to help present this information to people around the world. So just go ahead and prepare yourself, because there's a lot of things in the works to go ahead and continue to show our support to the things that you're doing as an individual and as an author. We thank God for you. We appreciate your time on today. We also appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your journey. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to know, continue to show your love, care, concern, and support. Don't forget to stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network, and I will be sure to fix those links so they will go to the necessary location. And again, we thank you so much for joining us today and look forward to hearing from you again very, very soon, okay?
Thank you, Pastor Kevin, and to all your audience, thanks for taking the time to have a quick listen.
God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.